TG Geeks, episode 192, October 22nd, 2018. Banjos, Ferrets, and Hauntings. Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the two gay geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery. Sci-fi, comics, film, horror genre, you name it, we talk about it. I'm Keith Lane and we're coming to you from TG Squared Studios in lovely Phoenix, Arizona, where it's getting a little cooler now. It's actually fall.
Autumn has finally arrived because it's not 100 degrees.
Exactly.
And I'm Ben Raggington, coming to you from the behind the red door.
Yes.
Here in lovely Phoenix, Arizona.
Playing a banjo.
How did you know I was going to say that?
Just because I know you.
Yes.
Let's get on with the show.
Prepare for hyperdrive.
Meanwhile, in this episode...
That's never going away.
No, probably not. I should put that in the script. We have an interview with Mr. Zachary Wheeler, who is the author of the Max in the Multiverse series, as well as Transient, and his new book, Max and the Banjo Ferret. So, you'll understand what that's all about whenever you hear him talk about it. So, and then we also have our birthday shout-outs, as always, our featured podcast of the week, and everybody's favorite, the feedback section. We have got quite a bit of feedback this time.
A fair amount.
And we are going to talk about...
The hill of the haunting, the hill of the haunted house.
Yeah, hill on the haunted house. The hill with the what? What is it called again?
My brain just turned inside out on that one.
The haunting of Hill House.
Yikes! Yes, we are recording this on a Saturday morning, and I've only been up just a couple of hours, and I'm still working on my first cup of coffee. So
yeah, and then we're going to have the weekly recap as well as our follow-up items. So let's just get started with this interview. And this time we have back with us again Mr. Zachary Wheeler, who is the author of a number of books. We've got where you're on book 3 of Max and the Multiverse. Is
just
that correct?
Released.
Just released, yeah.
Yep, that is correct. Book 3 entitled Max and the Banjo Ferret.
Oh,
and,
book
couldn't overall.
I couldn't remember. I thought it was the guitar sloth or something.
Close enough, we'll take it. Yes. But very, very great to be back with you guys again. Always a pleasure to chat with you.
The Celtic harp hippo.
Yeah, the Celtic harp hippo. There you go.
Oh, that rolls off the tongue nicely, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it creates an image, too.
That's a good 80s band name right there.
Oh, there's my new band name, Celtic Harp Hippo. Okay.
So, for those that don't know who you are and what you have written before, because you wrote something that was very, very different than the series that you're working on right now, give us just kind of a little background of who you are and what your first book was, and then introduction to this series, and then we'll talk about Max and the Celtic Harp Hippo.
All right. Sounds good. So my name is Zachary Wheeler. I am a science fiction novelist, now based in Toronto, Ontario, formerly Albuquerque, New Mexico, for people who have listened to previous podcasts. My first novel, entitled Transient, is a darker, heavier sci-fi, more on the noir front. It is currently in development to become a feature film. And I am also the author of the Max and the Multiverse series, which is a sci-fi comedy series akin to Douglas Adams, or at least I hope so.
Yes.
And I just released book 3 in the series, so that's where we're at.
Yeah. So Max and the Multiverse. When I read that, I think we picked up Transient. Did we? Did we actually pick it? Yeah, we picked up a copy.
Yeah. You picked up both of them. Yeah.
At Phoenix Comic-Con several years ago.
Comic-Con. Mm-hmm.
And I read Transient and was just enthralled with that. And then Max and the Multiverse. And when I wrote a review of Max and the Multiverse, I said that you are the heir apparent to Douglas Adams, and it was really true. I mean, I enjoyed it tremendously, and
I may have cried tears of joy for that review. You cannot pay me a better compliment than that.
So, and it really is. So we have Max in the Multiverse, which sets the whole thing up, and then we have Max and the Snoodlecock, which is the second book. And then we have all of these bizarre things. Then we have Max and the Banjo Ferret. So,
are we not talking like Douglas Adams meets Dr. Seuss?
Yeah. You know, it only occurred to me after I had published Max and the Banjo Ferret that I had an animal theme going. That was not intentional, but ended up being kind of an amusing pattern.
Well, you do have a cat in Max and the Multiverse, so
yes, one of the main characters, Ross, who is a fan favorite.
Yeah. So tell us about Max and the Banjo Ferret. I always want to say Banjo Ferret.
Max and the Banjo Ferret is the third book. It picks up directly where Snoodlecock left off, specifically because Snoodlecock kind of ends with a cliffhanger without giving anything away. And that was one of the pressures of getting Banjo Ferret out, because I was starting to get a little bit of fan impatience to divulge the reveal they were waiting on. So that picked up, and it follows the 4 main characters again, Max and Zoe and Para and Ross, on the next insane adventure, which involves the mysterious Banjo Ferret. So I've been struggling. Oh, I shouldn't say struggling. It's been an amusing exercise in trying to describe what this book is about without actually divulging what the Banjo Ferret is.
I see.
So the way I've found to describe this is to tell you the backstory of the Banjo Ferret without actually divulging what's going on in the book.
I see.
So the Banjo Ferret actually goes back to 2012. It is a satire website I created in response to the Mayan apocalypse.
Oh dear God.
Yeah. So Banjo Ferret is so basically, you remember all the 2012 hysteria that everyone was going.
The world is ending.
Yes, like the giant eye roll thing, and I got so sick of like it being in the news cycle and everyone just kind of giving this credence, and it's just, you know what? I'm just going to create a different, basically a mock religion, and just to poke fun at everything going on. So I created this. It became Feridianism, which is banjoferret.com. And it was just a lark, and I actually ended up I started to end up getting a following.
Oh dear!
Yeah.
Whoops.
So and of course this thing was all tricked out. I mean, I got the whole backstory. I got merchandising. I got all that kind of stuff just for fun, and it ended up getting popular. Well, what had happened is so I've been maintaining this website for like years at this point, and it's just still going to this day. And
wow.
The deity in the Feridianism religion is a giant purple banjo playing ferret, and his name is Tim the Destroyer of Worlds.
Oh dear Lord!
So I mean, it's just wall to wall, just rib poking. And so what had happened is in the first two books, and this was something that just blew me away. I had a couple of readers point out in the first two books, because I actually referenced him in the first two books just as an inside joke to myself. And there were a couple of readers that picked up on that inside joke. And it was like, wait, is that the Banjo Ferret? It's like, holy crap, yes it is. And great eye on you. So I was thoroughly impressed with that. And that just kind of got the brain wheels turning. And then it all came to fruition in the third book. It was like, I know exactly where I want to take this. And this is what ended up happening. So basically the whole series at this point can almost be looked at as one giant setup to one big joke.
Oh, dear God.
So that is the appropriate setup for Max and the Banjo Ferret. So
I haven't read it yet, but I'm gonna be absolutely slayed if at some point Max meets the Banjo Ferret and the ferret just says, "You sure look pretty."
Squeal like a pig.
You Deliverance fans.
I think you will be pleasantly surprised with the outcome. It ends up tying closely into the cliffhanger of Snoodlecock, and it was a very satisfying story to write. So I hope, my betas loved it. I'm getting good feedback so far, so fans seem to be appreciating it at least.
Cool.
So hopefully that's a decent summation or a decent springboard into the story.
Yeah.
I think it sounds pretty intriguing.
It certainly does. I admit that I started Max and the Snoodlecock, and everything else is pushed that out of the way. It's just, oh my gosh.
Yeah, because we've got so many. I mean, we really we get slammed with so many things we have to do. So many movies
you
have to look
guys
at.
aren't busy, don't
Oh
lie.
my gosh.
I know, we're making it all up. What can we say?
This show has just taken off, and we have, and I have to be honest with you, I don't know when we're going to run this in an episode, because
totally
we
fine.
have several that are time sensitive. So.
Oh, that's completely fine. It's like, you guys are. You guys deserve the popularity you have. You have a fantastic podcast, and I tell everyone I know about it. I've shared your content many a times. So,
bless you.
I hope I'm pointing some people your way, because I adore your cast.
Oh, thank you. Well, we'll eventually, it'll get there soon.
It'll be in the can. It's just a question of when we can schedule
and
it.
we've already got like 6 there. One that has to go out Monday because a book is being released, and then we have another one. It's like, oh my gosh, we're just on and on. So
Not a problem in the least.
I don't even remember where I was going with that.
I have no idea where you're going with that.
I've lost my mind, and I can't find it.
Well, we did go down a ferret hole of mock religions and all sorts of crazy things. So basically, anywhere is legitimate at this point.
Yeah, I was just saying that I hadn't read the Max and the Snoodlecock, so I'm excited to get back to that, so that then I can read
Ditto.
the Banjo Ferret.
Cool.
But I really, with Max and the Multiverse, it hooked me from page 1.
I would be...
Well, same thing with Transient. I mean,
thank you.
you did good. When you can do that with me, it means that I'm going to eventually get there. So
Keith had gotten into Max and the Multiverse before I did, and I would be in one part of the house, and all of a sudden I just hear him, just burst out laughing at something that was in that first book. So that's kind of an indicator as to how much he really loved, how much we love the whole Max of the Multiverse series. So is this...
Oh, thank you.
Would this be... Is this still open-ended? I mean, are there still possibilities for future Max books?
Yes. So one of the... so every now and then, I'll get that question. Is like, are you going to tie the story up? It's like, it's too much fun to write. So
Right.
Good.
So basically, what Banjo Ferret does is, now that I have a trilogy released, it makes it easier to promote. Because whenever you have one book and then another that kind of ends, and you're working on kind of wrapping up the storyline, it's kind of difficult to push on people, because they just, let me know when it's finished and then I'll get everything,
Right.
that kind of.
Right.
Because people don't want to commit to a story that's not completed. So one thing I really wanted to do with Banjo Ferret was come to a logical conclusion, but not wrap anything up. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yes.
It's like it comes down to a logical, satisfying stopping point. And if I put out the next book next year, that's great. If I put out the next book 5 years from now, it's great. It's at a resting point.
Right.
So that makes it a lot easier as far as the writing pressure goes.
Yeah. So that's really interesting that you're kind of winding that little piece up, and then you have more places to go, or at least, you've got things to do, shall we say.
So funny enough you say that. Whenever I was halfway through Banjo Ferret, I had the opportunity to really just complete the story. And I remember being at a very crucial point in the storyline where I could go one of two directions. I could either steer it to its logical conclusion and be done with the entire series, or I could go down the other route. The only problem with the other route was it opened it up to a dozen books. So, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just like it made it very open-ended.
Right.
So because the series is just so much fun to be a part of and write, I opted for the latter.
Right.
So this series can just keep going and going and going.
Were the characters screaming at you to say, no,
yes.
go this way, no, go this way, no, go this way?
Like, I remember
we have more to tell.
Yeah, I remember during our first interview with you, describing your writing technique with Transient and then as opposed to Max. And you kind of, Max was one of those stories where the characters are talking to you and you're just kind of like rolling with it as they speak in your head.
Very much so. Mm-hmm. Oh, and I can actually, as a little teaser, yes, the characters were screaming at me, but it wasn't the main characters. Actually, the villains were screaming at me.
Really? Oh my God!
For the directions, yes.
It's like, we have more to do to Max.
Exactly. They were the driving force in keeping the series ongoing because of the way the story was unfolding. So. Hopefully that's not too much of a reveal. I keep it as vague as I can.
No, I mean you have multiple villains that kind of crop up every once in a while and peep their head out.
Yeah.
and things that people that you didn't think were villains.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really interesting. So. With the Max stories, you've got more to do, and Banjo Ferret is only the third in the series. So hopefully, looking forward to the next 7 books or 8 books or 9 books or whatever it is that you have coming out. So tell us, because we've talked about this every time we've talked to you, tell us where is Transient right now?
So Transient as the story or as the movie, or both?
Yeah.
Well, let's start with the book.
All right. So, oddly enough, Transient 2, or just whatever it's going to be called, has been in... Now Transient has been a planned series from the start, but Transient sets a lot better as a standalone than the Max series does.
Right.
So the Transient one kind of comes to a logical conclusion comes to a defined conclusion at the end of the book.
It's a satisfying conclusion.
Yes.
I thought it was. So it could either go on or not.
Correct. But Transient 2 has been outlined and I know exactly where the story is going through the third book. I just have to sit down and write it. The only problem with Transient 2 is the story is hyper violent and very depressing. So it's one of those situations where if I concentrate on that, this is not kind of the best time period to be doing it.
Right. Just Max moved.
Yes. Max is very uplifting and very fun and very distracting in a way. And if I go down the dark tunnel that is Transient 2, it's just not something that's appealing right now. Now, of course, I want to give the story its conclusion. I want to further the characters and give them, more of especially a lot of the secondary characters. I want to give them the more dimensions that they deserve, but. It's just this is a very heavy sequel, and it's hard to get motivated right now to get into that.
Interesting. So tell us where Transient the movie is.
So Transient the movie right now, as far as I know, I have no news since the last time we talked. The producer is actually busy filming a television series right now. So I imagine Transient is just basically taking a back seat for the time being. I'll get updates every now and then, but no like production rumblings or anything like that.
Didn't you tell us last time that you sort of became the screenwriter for that?
Yes.
Or the screenplay for the...
Oh, yes. That's right. So since the last time we talked, the screenplay actually got approved.
Oh, cool.
So they started actually writing casting contracts. So it started to really get close to a full production green light, but I imagine a lot of and there were some names that were being tossed around that were just jaw dropping, but I couldn't. And one of them being the director, and it was really exciting for a couple of weeks, and then it just kind of fizzled out. So I imagine it kind of succumbed to the whole scheduling ordeal,
right,
trying to get everyone to fit into the same calendar, which that's the nature of development.
Exactly.
So it just kind of went away for a little while, and the producer, we chatted every now and then. It was like, well, it didn't really come together the way I was hoping, and then he moved on to the other project that he actually was able to get greenlit. And he's got a bunch of different things in his basket at any given time. So it's just, based on whatever month it is, it's anyone's guess what's going to be the primary focus. So may get rolling again in a couple of weeks, couple of months. I don't know.
Who knows?
So it's sort of in production limbo right now, then.
Exactly.
Or development limbo.
Yeah, or what is it? Development hell.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, I didn't want to use that because that sounds too depressing.
Yeah, I am officially in development hell.
Let's just say development purgatory because development hell sounds just way too dark.
It sounds cool. But yes, I was able to get I was able to make to answer your original question, I was able to get a writing credit on the script, and I was actually able to go back and put and adjust the entire thing, like adjust pacing, structure. I actually got some production company feedback that they wanted a little bit more action beat, so I was able to add some more material, which actually improved the script, I thought.
Yeah.
And so I really like where the script is right now. So hopefully they will, and they approved it. So they are going forward with this current version. Now, once it gets into production, who knows, they might change it, but
Right.
At the moment it's still lingering in development.
So with the screenwriter title, are you co-screenwriters, or
Yes.
have you got the created by credit?
I got both. I got
cool.
Screenplay by in my name, and based on the novel by. So I'll get the double credit.
Okay.
And
This is all assuming it gets to completion.
And we're talking about this being a movie, right?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Cool. So that's a cool deal, because if it turns, sometimes we have another friend that has in the business that has shared a number of things with us, and if it's television, if the original screenwriter or the original screenplay gets the created by tag. So if it's somebody's, Joe Blow's book, and somebody else does the screenplay for the television, he gets the, based on characters by Joe Blow,
but not created by.
Oh,
so
interesting.
Yeah. So that's why I asked that question.
Well, as far as I know, and I run this by the producers, so I actually get a screenwriter credit as well, and he was quick to yes. So I made that assumptions, but I don't know.
Well,
I just don't have the knowledge to speak intelligently on it.
Being a movie, I think screenwriter is probably the
there won't be a created by thing. That's pretty much for television.
Yeah. So.
So this has all been fantastic. Nice to know that there's so much more coming on with, or at least possibly in the future for Max.
Yeah.
And I love the idea that you've got fans that were kind of beating down the door, saying, where is this going? I mean, that must have made you feel really.
the next book?
That must have made you feel good, though. I mean, knowing that there are people, that there are people saying, well, where does it go? You've got an audience.
People camping on your front porch.
It really blows my mind, to tell you the truth. I mean, whenever I put out Transient, my first novel, I would have been thrilled to have sold like 100 copies in its lifetime.
Oh, wow.
And now it's like with like the series and having people contact me every like I'll get a couple of messages a week and had it either be a question or wondering what's going on with the process or all that kind of stuff. It really blows my mind. It's strange to reflect on. But yeah, I mean, it was weird feeling that drive, because I have to finish the book because the readers are wanting it. And it's like, and then just every once in a while I have to stop. It's like, wow, this is actually a driving force now.
Yeah,
it's a cool feeling.
That's cool.
Well, it's nice to keep them happy, because the last thing you want to do is have your readers burn a ferret on your front lawn.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A ferret in effigy.
Do not harm any ferrets.
No ferrets were harmed in the making of this. So, for people who want to know more about you and your works, is there any social media presence, like on the Facebooks or on the Twitters or the Instagrams or the Pinterest or the this or the that? My God, there's so many, I can't keep track of them all.
Absolutely, yes. So my main website is ZacharyWheeler.com, complete with the weird spelling, Zachry, Wheeler.com.
It's spelled Zachary like it sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Zachary, not Zachary or Uri, Zachary. And that is the same handle, ZacharyWheeler.com, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And those, I stick to the classics, so I'm on all three.
Oh, that makes that easy.
Cool. Yeah. we haven't figured out this Pinterest thing.
Nah, I'm still
some people are doing Pinterest, and it's like, what the heck is that?
I haven't figured that out yet.
There's a couple of media sites that I just don't know how to use as an author, and I don't want to get spread too thin, so I'll
right,
just stick with
exactly.
the ones I'm comfortable with. So yeah, Pinterest is one of them. It's just like, I guess I could just post pictures of my book covers, I guess, question mark?
I don't know.
I know.
It just boggles my mind. I'm becoming an old curmudgeon. Get off my social media, you kids!
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I was going to go down a different road. Well,
No problem.
Save that for another time.
I'm going to save that for another time.
But those can be really fun, though.
Well, thank you for being on the show this time, Zachary.
Of course. Thank you very much for having me. It is always a pleasure to chat with you two.
Absolutely.
This is Zachary Wheeler, science fiction novelist, author of Transient and the Max and the Multiverse series, and you are listening to the Two Gay Geeks.
I like the music.
That's nice.
It's kind of cool. Here are a few selected birthdays for October 22nd through October 28th, 2018. October 22nd, Jeff Goldblum. Of course it's Jeff Goldblum.
Of course, it's Jeff Goldblum.
Somebody did a tweet and said he met Jeff Goldblum at a party, and it was John Smith, and Jeff Goldblum says, "Of course it's John Smith." And he's like, "You know who I am?" And then he realized Jeff Goldblum said, "Of course it's so and so," to everybody he met.
That's so Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. October 22nd also is Jesse Tyler Ferguson, Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd and Jeff Goldblum share a birthday.
Yep.
Oh my God! How did the
Amazing.
universe not explode on that one?
Exactly. Also, Franz Liszt, that your mother looks like when she hasn't had her hair cut in a while.
Oh, she better not listen to this.
Well, that's what she said.
I know, but I don't think that's meant for public consumption.
Yeah. And Daniel Boone, Annette Funicello, Derek Jacobi, and Ettore Boiardi, who is...
As in Chef Boyardee?
yes. And as a matter of fact, he moved to the U.S., came to Ellis Island, through Ellis Island, and followed his brother into the kitchen at the Plaza Hotel
No
in New
kidding.
York City. And he worked his way up to chef, and then he started his own line or started his own restaurant and people were asking about his tomato sauce, so he started packaging it up for them, and then started canning it, and so people could remember his name and say it correctly.
He changed
it to Hector Boyardee. So, a little interesting.
I just know it as Chef Boyardee.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the marketing name.
Yeah, Chef Boyardee. And also on October 22nd, Sarah Bernhardt. She was her first film was in 1900. She did a Tosca and there's several other things. So.
You know, she's the grandmother of Sandra Bernhardt.
Yes, of course she is.
It's a fact.
It's a fact. October 23rd, Ryan Reynolds, Michael Crichton, Weird Al Yankovic, Johnny Carson, and Ang Lee. October 24th, F. Murray Abraham, The Big Bopper, and Kevin Kline. October 25th, Pablo Picasso and Georges Bizet.
Berlioz. I'm sorry.
Bizet. Yes. And John Anderson.
Of Yes.
Yes, it's John Anderson.
Lead singer of Yes.
And Johann Strauss the Tooth. Or the second. Sorry.
Remember, the tooth.
The Tooth. Also on October 25th, good friend Greg Hall. October 26th, Seth MacFarlane, Domenico Scarlatti, and Bob Hoskins.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
There you go.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
You're quizzing me?
I'm quizzing you.
Okay.
I'm a quizzling.
I think you just invented a word.
No, quizzling is a word.
Is it?
But it's a derogatory term. It means it's a despot's follower. Sycophant, really.
Oh, is it?
It's kind of a sycophant.
Is it?
It is.
Oh, is it?
It is. October 22nd, Theodore Teddy Roosevelt, John Cleese, and Niccolo Paganini, and friend of the show, Alice Harper. October 28th, Bill Gates, Matt Smith, Jonas Salk, Elsa Lanchester, and Edith Head, the quintessential costume designer.
Oh, yes.
And also Megan Enlow and Miguel Gonzalez. That is it for the birthdays this time.
The Red Legion took away our home. Dominus Gaul has stolen our light. But from the ashes, a fire team of guardians rise to...
Guardian down.
Wait. Who was that?
Titan, no jump good.
This is Happy Hour from the Tower. I'm T.
I'm Nick. I'm Brandon.
And we're going to talk about all things Destiny. Why we play.
Why we love punching aliens in the face.
And why T's aim needs a little bit of work.
Have you got that? Say you've got it. Say something.
A podcast for players of all levels. Find Happy Hour from the Tower on iTunes, Stitcher, or at happyhourfromthetower.com. Eyes up, Guardian. Time to give up the ghost. It's Happy Hour from the Tower. First round's on us.
Go give a listen to our friend T and his gang of guardians over at Happy Hour from the Tower. And now, what time is it?
You're quizzing me again?
Yeah, I'm quizzling you again.
Yeah, starting with some feedback for episode 189, where we interviewed Sam Johnson. He's the creator of Geek Girl, and he says, thank you to Two Gay Geeks for the fun interview we just recorded talking about the Geek Girl Kickstarter launching October 1. Well, we were happy to talk to you because, as we say,
Kickstarter's still going.
It's still going.
And it's almost completely funded.
Yay!
So, yay for that.
And as we've said all the time, we love to talk to independent creators, and he certainly typifies that. Then moving forward to episode 190, where we interviewed Joseph Gaxiola, and he comes back with a feedback saying, "Thank you both for a great interview. You made me feel comfortable. Also, thank you letting Edward, that's his partner, and I hanging out with you both. That was at CocoCon."
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Then, more comments from the movie, for the movie Dune. Does it have enough spice to be considered good? And we got this from Jeannie Koch, and I had to, this is great. She says, "Saw this first run in the theater with my BFF and her dad, who was a gigantic fan of the books. My BFF was a big girl and had a big voice. During the second time Paul looks at the spice, she anticipated his constant and repeating inner monologue line and said, 'Spice, Arrakis, Dune, desert planet,' right before he did. The audience roared because it's a joke all the way through the film. When it was over, we apologized to her dad for the movie, and we're hugely grateful that we paid for the tickets because that was just the worst adaptation ever. The Hubses managed to watch it like you guys do, pretending the book doesn't exist, but never again for me. Once was bad/funny enough."
Yeah, and we have this thing where it's always desert planet.
Yeah.
Look at Mars.
Mars. Yeah.
You know, driving to Southern California, desert planet.
Yeah, it's the meme. And then lastly, we got a comment from Jack Mangan. He says, "This is a great synopsis and take on the film, as well as the book. I acknowledge that it's a mess of a film, but there's so many great visuals and moments. The sci-fi miniseries was, quote-unquote, better, but I'd rather watch the Lynch film." And I have to agree. I did think the sci-fi miniseries was so much better.
Yep.
But if I have to choose, I'm going to pull that David Lynch one any day of the week, and it'd be the special edition too.
Oh yeah. So it's always a wonderful thing when we watch it. I mean, it's one of those weird.
It is a very,
fascinations.
very strange film.
It is. That's it for our comments. We want to hear from you. If you have a comment or you have an opinion about anything, our articles, this show, anything that we do, let us know. We want to hear from you, good or bad. You can leave your comments on our Facebook page, or you can, on our YouTube episodes, you can comment on our YouTube episodes for the, these episodes. I've lost my train of thought. It derailed. You can comment on Twitter, or you can comment on each thread in our on our website, whether it's an article or whether it's one of the episodes. Anything we have on the website, comments are open. I think except for one article, we had to turn the comments off on that one because it was just getting out of hand. Anyway, you can leave us a comment, and we'll give you a shout-out on a future episode. And if you happen to be of a mind, you can leave us a voicemail message, and we'll play your comment on
I haven't
air.
had one of those in a long time.
I know. And we need one every once in a while. You can call 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. And as always, please play nice.
Yeah, baby. They're like two gay geeks. They're together, you know. They're two gay guys, and they're geeks. Is that okay?
Well, we just finished watching something absolutely amazing that was on Netflix.
It truly was. I would love to have the soundtrack because I love the
music was
and
fabulous.
film. Haunting of Hill House. Oh my
I
God.
think there is a soundtrack because that's one of the most popular threads that I've been seeing on social media. But yes, we're
Really?
talking about
Wow.
The Haunting of Hill House.
Wow.
This was beyond astonishing
Yep.
as far as horror shows go.
Yeah, you actually have your 3-episode thoughts that
I
we're
ran-
going to recap
yeah,
this last week. So.
This last week, I wrote the first 3 episodes thoughts.
Then we watched the rest of it.
and then we mainline the rest of it after that. We didn't want to watch anything past episode 3, lest it might color whatever it is that I needed to write
right.
for the website. So, but yeah, as soon as we watched the first 3 episodes, I wrote something up and put it on the website so you can catch it there, and we'll have the link for that in the show notes for this episode. But then we, over a couple of nights, we were able to finally finish watching this entire series, and it took us both places that we did not expect.
I know it was incredible. I loved the cinematography. It was just
gorgeous,
absolutely incredible. I love their use of color, where the older family scenes of the young family were a little muted, but highly stylized in a color, kind of a muted color, if you will, except for some things where the colors were very vivid.
There were some scenes where I thought the colorization was very warm.
Yeah.
Which would I could lure you into a false sense of security, but it also is a great depiction of some of the more happier times, shall we say?
Yeah.
Of that moment?
Yeah, and then there was, of course, that young family, there were several color palettes. It was depending on whether the house was, interacting with the individuals, or it was the family interacting. The family interacting was that muted color palette, and then the house.
When the house is doing something, it's a really good observation.
Very dark and some vivid color strokes in there, such as, Liv's dress and the red door and several other things. So, and then the current day was just a normal color palette of sorts.
Mostly.
Yeah. And unless something weird was happening. So
it's not just the cinematography, but there was some phenomenal directorial choices as well. Episode 6 featured what I thought was one of the most intense scenes ever, and it's all because of the dialogue, and it was all shot in one take.
Yeah.
Like how 15 minutes of a single take?
I know.
I mean, it was amazing that they would do this. I mean, this series is a work of genius.
Yeah, it is.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
And what I loved is that there were 2 jump scares, 2 big ones.
Yeah.
Throughout all 10 parts, only 2 huge jump scares. Any other jump scares were minor.
The first one.
Oh my God.
We both
screamed.
It was.
I mean, we literally both screamed.
We got lulled into a sense of, okay, well, this is just creepy and it's just weird and it and there's not going to be any jump scares and then all of a sudden there was one.
Yeah, but it was very appropriate too.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it's the kind of jump scare that you kind of needed for that part of the story.
Yeah, and then the second one was.
The second one caught me by surprise too.
Caught me by surprise, but we didn't scream as loud.
Well, I did. Although I used a different expletive.
Yeah.
First time I dropped an F-bomb. On the second one, I just I said something different. But both of them kind of made me shout out.
Yeah.
But the rest of the scares were very slow.
Yeah, and it was just creepy. Just creepy.
Creepy beyond belief. And
yeah.
I loved it because it made that chill happen, just go up and down my back. So that's something that I love to be able to experience. And they gave it in spades in this. And I thought the acting, especially among some of the children,
oh my Lord,
amazing.
It's amazing when you look at the children and then you see the adults. And I especially, and I made one comment early on. I said, have you noticed that Nell as an adult still has some of that childlike mannerisms and speech patterns, etc.?
Well, obviously that's the way it was written, but I kind of think maybe, and I don't know, I'd like to see some behind the scenes material on the making of it, because I think it would have been a really great idea if they had made the adult actors work with their childhood counterparts.
It's possible, but
a little bit. At least spend time together so they could kind of get a sense for each other.
Yeah, they really all were really great as far as how they kind of mimicked the adults. Or,
And we have an amazing cast, a really wonderful cast of characters and actors, including Timothy Hutton, who, I mean, the man is an amazing actor. I mean, he won an Academy Award when he was in his youth, or not youth, but when he was a young man. And to see him cast in this, I mean, and his role is really just, his part is almost stifled.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that. And it makes perfect sense. And when he finally gets to open up, you got to see this wealth of performance come out of him.
Oh, yeah. It was
as
just
well
incredible.
As everybody else. And then for the last 2 episodes, this thing went a completely different direction.
Oh, yeah. Completely different than what I had anticipated.
I never saw this coming.
Yeah.
I mean,
it left me, at the
oh,
end.
I was in tears.
I was just weeping.
Yeah, I was totally in tears. It was so remarkably beautiful, and this just goes to show the breadth that that horror can take.
Yep.
It has such variety and so many areas that it can go. It doesn't just doesn't have to be scare.
Yeah, and well, it wasn't a happy ending. It wasn't a horrible ending. It just kind of, it was for me, it was a satisfying ending.
I would call it a beautiful ending.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bittersweet.
Yeah.
There's no question about it.
Yeah.
It's a very bittersweet ending, but it was beautiful nonetheless.
Yeah.
On how it all came out. I mean, I was very, very moved by it. I thought it was remarkable.
Yeah.
And I remember when we got to the second to the last episode, and right there and then, they had to do something for the sake of the mystery, which, had they not done it, would have been disappointing. But then I also knew that by doing it, if they continue down this path, it's going to be as equally disappointing. So it's almost like you paint yourself in a corner, and yet they delivered everything perfectly.
Right. They started to explain the mysteries.
They
and
demystified
the
it.
Connections of the house to the people, and to the people to the hills, shall we say?
Yeah.
And it really then and the connection of the Dudleys to the house, and so it was. They started to wrap it up, and then it was,
and that's
it's great.
That's the danger. When you demystify, you can take away some of the scare.
Right.
So now you have to shift. And as we've learned through our experiences with Horrible Imaginings and talking to Miguel Rodriguez, the horror does not have to be all about scare. Horror can be about so many different things.
Yeah, unexpected.
And there's a
creepy,
lot of unexpected.
Yeah.
There's a horror of humanity that's also existing here that we did not really know about for all this time.
Right.
The horror changes, and that's what made this such a wonderful, wonderful series. I've heard rumblings of a season 2 that will deal with other people.
Interesting.
But as long as it is adapted and directed by the same man, Mike Flanagan.
Yeah. And then the music, once again, was just...
And everything about it, the cinematography, the mansion itself, Bishop Manor.
Oh, wow.
In LaGrange, Atlanta. I mean, oh my God, it's fantastic. I love this series. I could not be happier that we watched it. I'm kind of sad that it's over, but
yeah, I know, because I really, really, really
I was
enjoyed
so
this.
invested. And again, wow, the people, the cast, the story, all of it was all perfect. I love it. If you haven't seen it, check out The Haunting of Hill House. It's available, all 10 parts, on Netflix. Do so.
And I hope we didn't give away any spoilers.
I don't think we did. And I do plan to, I don't know, maybe, hopefully
Wrap it
before
up.
this episode is publishes, I hope to write another article that will then do a complete wrap-up of the series.
Yep. And that's it for our second segment.
I'm Daniel Radcliffe, and I believe that reaching out for help is the bravest thing a person can do. If you are struggling and need support, call the Trevor Lifeline at 1-866-488-7386. It's free and confidential, and trained counsellors are there to listen 24/7 without judgment. To learn more about the Trevor Project's life-saving work for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or questioning young people, go to thetrevorproject.org.
And for those that only listen to the podcast or the webcast, we do have a website, tggeeks.com, where we publish something every single day. And
Yes.
Ben's going to give us a recap.
Starting on Sunday, October 14th, Dr. Zombie, Monster Family Physician number 18 from Tommy Cannon. On Monday the 15th, we had episode 191 of the TG Geeks. On Tuesday the 16th, Jeannie Koch was back with another one of her articles, Binging My Life Away, this time the 1966 Irwin Allen sci-fi series, The Time Tunnel.
I loved Time Tunnel. I know you
hated that series
She hated
so
it.
much. I hated it. On Wednesday the 17th, we had a movie review. It's Halloween. And all I got was a rock. On Thursday the 18th, there were my 3-episode thoughts of The Haunting of Hill House. On Friday the 19th, we had issue number 33 of Hamish Downey's News Sushi, Morsels of News from Japan and Beyond.
And just for everybody's information, there was a glitch in the guest author plugin that I was using, and I was only using half of it. So consequently, my name was on every one of Hamish's entries. So I went back and I changed all that. So now
no idea.
Hamish has
Full
his
credit?
name, full credit on all of the News Sushi articles.
And then lastly, on Saturday, October 20th, a Geek's Guide to Scotch... Oh, jeez Louise!
Crotch stitch.
Oh, man, I can't believe I just did that. Okay, let me try that again. A Geek's Guide to Cross Stitch.
See, you can't even say it.
There's an insight. Keith had added that I can't even spell cross stitch. And I was about to add in, and I can spell it, but bloody hell, I can't say it. So there it is.
And that was done for us. The review was done by D. Estelle. So, and we thank our friends at Fanbase Press for giving us that opportunity. And you can find all these things at tggeeks.com, as well as entries on our Facebook page. Please visit and comment. As always, we have a few follow-up items that we want. Please listen. Don't tune out now. Please listen to the follow-up.
There's some good stuff here.
We want and things that are important to us.
Yes.
Check out the widgets on the side of the page and at the bottom of each of our articles. There are Amazon ads and things for if we've talked to somebody. We have an Amazon search ad at the bottom of an episode, and on the right-hand side, we do have some things, people that we support, and books that they have written, and other things that we would like for you to take a look at. And please do that. And we are supporters of Arizona Opera and hope that you will be too. The season has started with Maria de Buenos Aires. The next up is Charlie Parker's Yardbird, which is going to be incredible. That's in November. Check it out at azopera.org. And we've got a new category. Well, it's not so new anymore, but restaurant reviews. And next week we're going to have next Saturday we'll have a review of a restaurant
place
that
we just ate at the other night.
Last night, yeah. And we're huge supporters of independent creators, whether it's filmmakers, comic book artists, or writers. Please consider supporting independent creators by checking their stuff out at cons, online, wherever you happen to see them. Buy their stuff, comment about their stuff. You can support them in so many different ways. So support independent creators.
Special shout out to Doctor Who Fancast Guide. They republish our content on a regular basis. It is put out by Doctor Who Talking Who on Twitter, and you can find them by searching at Talking Who. Same goes for the Bionic Semi-Diurnal Aggregator, which is published by Michael C. Burgess on Twitter. You can find him by searching at Bionic. Same for the Arkle Times Post Dispatch News, and that is published by the Human Arkle, also known as Brian Weber. And you can find him by searching Twitter at Arkle. He also has the Shameless Cash Grab on YouTube. All you have to do is look up the word Arkle Studios, just one word, all together on YouTube, and you can find it there. And we had a little presence on that recently.
Yeah, for his wrap-up episode for this season. Our voices are featured.
Yes, I need to hear that too.
Yeah.
Then we have to finally give a shout out to the Facebook group, The Gay Geek, for allowing us to post our episodes on their page, as well as any other relative and relevant content. The URL is, relevant, not relative, but relevant. The URL is facebook.com/group/The Gay Geek, and special thanks go out to moderator Jeremiah Reeves for allowing us to share all of that content there.
Yes, thank you, Jeremiah. And thank you to everybody that has clicked on our Amazon ads. You can find those, as always, at the bottom of each article and on the right-hand side of the page. Please click on them. Just, you can buy something if you choose. Kind of gives us a little kickback sometimes. And lastly, we are now on Spotify. Check us out on Krypton Radio at 3 a.m. and 3 p.m. Pacific time on Tuesdays. And please rate us and review us on iTunes. And don't forget to... Yes.
That's not how it says in the script.
Don't forget to... I can't even say it. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and like and all that kind of neat stuff.
So you have to give a lift in your voice in order to be able to read it.
Amazing. Up next time, we are going to talk to Gareth David Lloyd about a new film that he has.
Yeah, we're talking Gareth David Lloyd of Torchwood. Woo-hoo!
Torchwood, yeah. So we're going to record that one here just shortly. Okay, that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article for this webcast episode. We're going to have several links on the page of things that we talked about. And remember, you can comment on our Facebook page or our website, tggeeks.com. You can leave us a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That's 469-844-3357. From TG Squared Studios, I am Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. Please be kind to yourself and others around you. Peace.
Cheers.